we're just basing our pricing off of these kinds of fears instead of out of facts.
Right.
You know, and there's a famous saying, numbers don't lie. Okay, you got to know your numbers. Hey, plumbing pros, welcome to the 464th episode of Potty Talk. I'm your host, Richard Behney, the $1 Million Plumber, along with my beautiful, very capable, intelligent, wise, the ever so wise, lovely Laura. Hey, baby.
Hey, baby.
Hey, welcome to this episode. All right. Hey, I've been looking forward. I think you're going to enjoy this episode.
Good.
Okay. We're talking about what are the top 3 mistakes that plumbers make. Okay, that plumbing business owners make.
Oh, okay.
And
Surely none of you watching have made any of these mistakes.
Yes.
We did.
So you want to continue to watch just to see, make sure.
Right.
Or see what
dumb mistakes we made.
we made, right. Yeah. There we go. Okay. And then how we fixed them.
Yes.
Okay.
More importantly.
Yes, there we go. So don't leave. It's going to be fun. Okay. Hey, but before I get into this, hey, I have something I want to share with you. Check it out. If you're overwhelmed by the day-to-day grind of running your plumbing business, you're not alone. Did you know that 95% of plumbing businesses fail in the first 3 years? And the ones that survive, well, they're just barely getting by. Truth is, you probably weren't taught how to run a business. You were taught how to plumb, but not how to price, hire, sell, or grow a plumbing business. That's exactly why I created the $1 Million Plumber Success Academy, to teach you the business side of plumbing. From pricing and sales to hiring and marketing, we cover everything you need to know. With over 150 training videos, live weekly coaching calls, and a community of plumbing pros just like you, you'll finally have the tools and the support to build a business that gives you freedom and profit, and lots of both. Since launching the Success Academy in 2018, I've helped hundreds of plumbing business owners build plumbing businesses that thrive, providing both financial success and personal freedom. The Success Academy is the original, and I've spent years perfecting my system to make it work quick and simple. So, if you're ready to transform your plumbing business, or more directly put, if you're ready to stop the suck and start your success, book a call with my team today and plumb like a champion. There we go. Okay, a very powerful plumbing business tool. Use it.
Yes.
All right? And grow your plumbing business. So we're talking about the top 3 mistakes. Okay? I was looking at this. 3 is just so easy. Okay? It's like 3 options, 3 whatever. Okay? There's plenty of mistakes, but these are things, simple mistakes. If you recognize, okay, and correct these mistakes, it's going to go very, very good for you and your plumbing business. Okay. Okay. But let's get into it. The first mistake. Okay.
See if this is you.
Okay. Mistake number 1 that we made. Okay. That we made. All right. Pricing based on fear instead of facts.
Fear over facts.
Okay. Not based on, based on the numbers, but based on our emotions, such as, I can't charge that. First of all, I don't want to rip people off like those big plumbing companies.
Yeah.
Okay, so I ain't going to charge that.
Right.
Okay, because they're ripping people off. All right, the same plumbing companies that that have all the customers. Okay,
Nicer trucks.
Guys working for
employees that have benefits.
Those companies that are ripping people off. Okay, I'm not going to charge what they're charging.
No,
okay,
I won't do that.
I'm going to charge way less.
Way under, and I'm going to work extra long hours and weekends and nights and on call. And have no money left at the end of the month.
Exactly.
That's for me.
Exactly. Hi, diddly-dee.
Plumber's
life for me. Exactly. And really it stems from our fear. My fear at the time was, I can't charge that.
Right.
It's just me in a truck. I mean, I can't charge that. My customers won't pay that.
Right.
Okay. And so, I'm not going to charge, that whatever. So what I do is I just come up, I base my pricing on just, what again, the last company I worked for, what they charged, and I just took some money off, just willy-nilly, just took some money off, so I'll charge that. Or, or asking around the supply house, what do you charge for it? What do you do? And then...
What's your going rate?
Right. Yeah, what's your going rate for going broke? Yeah. Exactly, okay? Take a little money off, so I'm going to go broke faster.
Hold my beer.
We're laughing because
Again, these are dumb mistakes we made.
Right.
All right.
Okay.
Just FYI.
Basically, we're basing our pricing off of these kinds of fears instead of out of facts.
Right.
And there's a famous saying, numbers don't lie. Okay. You got to know your numbers. Okay. So that you could know what to charge.
Right.
Okay. And numbers don't lie. If that's what we go through the process, and here's what you need to charge, because including all your expenses, all your numbers. Okay. Then that's what you got to charge. Numbers don't lie. Feelings lie. Okay, so this feeling that my customers won't pay that, that's a lie.
Right.
Okay, the feeling's lying to you. Okay, so you really need to price your jobs, for profit. I think we just did an episode on that with profit or whatever. And profit's not a 4-letter word. Okay. Emotionally, okay, literally, it's not a 4-letter word, okay, but it's not a
taboo,
right? It's not a bad word,
right.
Okay, all right. You need to price your jobs for profit, not based on fear. Okay, that's one of the first. It's a huge mistake that most plumbing organizations are making. Okay, 95% of all plumbing businesses fail within the first 3 years.
Sadly,
okay, and it's not because they're not good plumbers themselves, or don't care about their customers, or don't even have customers. Not that they have lots of customers, they have lots of work, but they fail because one of the major reasons, because they're making this major mistake, is that they're pricing based on emotion, not on facts. Okay, and the facts being what it costs them to operate their plumbing business.
right.
And it's scary. Where a lot of plumbing organizations are, if they haven't failed, of the 95% fails, at least 5%. 97% of those, okay, that don't necessarily fail, they're just struggling, okay? They're just surviving, just getting by, okay? One step up. And that's where that's exactly, okay? One step up, okay, and then all of a sudden we're 2 steps back. Do you ever feel like that? Or feel like you're playing the shell game to play the,
Robbing Peter to pay Paul.
Robbing Peter to pay Paul. The
Peter ain't got no money.
Right, exactly. Soon runs out of money. Or it just feels like the harder you work, in fact, the more you work, the less you make. Okay? It all comes down to the pricing.
Right. You're pricing out of fear instead of facts, and numbers don't lie.
Okay? And that's a killer. All right? So number one, you're pricing based on fear, not facts. Know your KPIs.
Yes.
Know what it costs you to operate your plumbing business, and base your pricing on that.
Right.
Okay? Number 2, okay? Big mistake. Second mistake here, okay? Hiring out of desperation.
Okay.
Okay? What I mean by that is, okay, is waiting for the last minute. Okay, well, now I need a guy. I got work. Okay, now I need a guy.
Right.
Okay?
Super busy. I'm backed up for a week. I need a guy.
Okay? Now, I'll say this, hiring the wrong guy can cost you, far more than hiring the right guy, right? I mean, hiring the wrong guy to train all that can cost you money, but not hiring anyone, all right, is costing you money.
Yes.
Okay, so is that fine line? You want good guys, but if we're losing work, okay, or you're not ready to take the work when it does come in and ride ride that wave to the next wave. All right, you're losing. You're losing.
But it's hard to hire somebody because no one's as good as me.
Yeah.
No one's as good as me. No one's going to do the work the way I want it done. No one is as good a plumber as I am. No one, no one wants to work. I mean, all the excuses, right?
Right.
Yeah. Which we get. And you're right. There is nobody good that's going to be as good as you. More than likely. There's just not. If you went out and started your own plumbing business, more than likely you're a pretty doggone good plumber. And know your craft and know your trade really well and take it seriously and treat it with respect and realize that it's a career. All those things, you treat it professionally. Most of the plumbers that you hire are not going to be you.
Right.
99.9% are not going to be you.
Right. You just have to let go of that.
You do.
In fact, we talk a lot about this with our clients, a lot in the Success Academy, of just that you work towards, when we talk about this, of just being 80% as good as you. That's what you hope for.
Right.
Okay.
You're doing pretty good. You get 80%.
80% of your ability. Okay. In your skill.
And that would be an A+ player. Someone that's 80% of you really is an A+ player.
Yes.
Truly, right? And what you want to do is, especially when you're starting out, more than likely you're not going to get an A-plus player right out of the gate. You're just not. So you go with, because it's worse to not have enough plumbers, you look for a good C player, C plus player. And then hopefully, train him in your ways, and maybe he can grow. But into a B, possibly later an A. But as you're continuing to grow and you need more plumbers, then you might be able to get a B minus player or something,
right.
And start to just go up the ladder, right?
Exactly.
And then someone's always low on the totem pole. Someone's always low on the totem pole. So.
But we talk about this again. The mistake is hiring out of desperation. Mm-hmm. So you're hiring anybody, and you're also waiting to the last minute.
That's the
because
worst.
It's like I don't have work, or I don't think I have enough work.
Right.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then
what happens when they're sitting around?
Right.
Yeah.
Look, and so what we lean on the excuse. Well, there just aren't any good plumbers. Okay. There hasn't been any good plumbers for 40 years. Okay. I've been in this for over 40 years. There's never been enough plumbers. There's never been enough plumbers. There's never been enough plumbers. There's not enough software writers. Okay. Auto mechanics. Doctors, nurses, teachers, right? And what I'm saying, because right when you need them, okay, if all of a sudden, I have to hire a mechanic, okay, for my shop, or the practice needs, a doctor, okay, or whatever. I mean, we just
they're just not lined up.
They're just not lined up, right? Okay, especially, and plumbers are the same kind of a thing. So especially when you're starting out and you're new in business, okay, or you haven't been around it, or they're unfamiliar with your business. Why would they want to come work for you? Anyways.
Gotta ask yourself that.
Right. Okay. But we wait to the last minute. Huge mistake. Okay. So we really, you need to systemize, and we talk about this. I've already heard us, and we have potty talk episodes on this. Okay. That really, you're not a plumbing business. Okay. You got two businesses. You're a marketing business, which we talk about that, and you're a recruiting business for this reason, because it's a huge mistake to wait until you need a plumber. Okay,
right, to start recruiting.
Doesn't mean you have to hire, but we always must be recruiting. We systemize. There's a process, all right, so that we always have someone that we're going to be talking to. In fact, we get into this. We talk about, the things that we in our daily dash, our weekly dashboard, or whatever that we're checking as being a plumbing business CEO. Okay, one of the things is, do we have any interviews this week?
Right.
Do we have any interviews? Because we're always looking.
Right.
Recruiting. Doesn't mean we're hiring.
Right.
But we're always recruiting to have that in the process.
Yes. Even if it's been a slow couple weeks, like you've been dead. Ain't not a single call coming in. If someone reaches out to your plumbing company and says, are you hiring? The answer is yes. Yes, we are. Absolutely. Because you're always recruiting. You're always trying to have a deep bench, if you will, so that when it's, you're getting close to where you're needing to hire someone, then you've got, some people that you've either met with or applications or whatever it might be that you can reach out and hopefully start to hire and then onboard, and not waiting until the last minute to go, oh shoot, I need to get an ad out in Indeed or wherever it is that you're placing ads. I need to get an ad out. It's way too late at that point. It's way too late at that point.
Exactly. This is a huge mistake, and it's an easy one to fix. Okay. Now, really, the problem is emotionally on our side. I'm coming off a slow. I don't need anybody.
Right.
Why do I think? Or if I bring someone else on, then the others are going to be mad, and all this, or what if it's not all work? That's all head trash. Okay.
Yep.
And we must get over that. Okay. And the ways of getting over that. But very simply put, it's just that you're always hiring. Your guys having technicians is the second, right in line, the greatest asset that your plumbing business has. I mean, you got customers, all right, which we get, okay? So we get marketing and ad. Okay, I got to attract customers. I need customers. I got a job. I need jobs. Okay, we get that, okay? But just as important are having the asset in place that can take care of the jobs, okay, and lined up so that when there's more jobs coming in, you can take advantage of that, okay? And then ride that wave to the next wave, and more jobs come in, okay? And I can take that.
And it's not you doing the work. It's not you going, okay, we're super swamped, so now I'm going to have to work, extra hours, and I'm going to have to work into the evening, and I'm going to have to work nights and weekends and holidays and all the things.
Well, that's a great point, which leads us into the third great mistake. Okay. Third big mistake here is wearing every hat in the business.
Wearing every hat. But before we get to there, I want to ask you to give us a review, give us a like, give us a thumbs up, give us a something. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. Subscribe. Get notified whenever we release a new episode of Potty Talk, because you never want to miss an episode. These are all so good. There's such great information. So we'd appreciate any nice comment you can give. Let us know that you're out there, and thumbs up. Appreciate it.
That's right. You don't. And you said you don't want to miss an episode of Potty Talk. Look, if you're serious about growing your business there. I mean, this is free information.
Right.
Like, I've been in the plumbing industry for over 40 years. We've been with our plumbing business almost 19.
We've been in our plumbing business for 19 years.
Yeah, 19 years or whatever, working it together, 24. We've been working together for what we call plumbing power couples. So if you're a husband and wife team looking to have the dream of having grown your own business and assets and creating a life for yourself, we've been doing this for over 31 years, working together 24/7.
Yeah, we've been, not all in plumbing, but we've had another business before. But we've been married over 31 years, and we've worked for 30 years together.
Yes.
Yeah, crazy,
I know.
right? So we still like each other.
Yeah. All right. We're still together.
Go figure.
Okay. So, but we've gone through these things, and we've made these mistakes. Okay. So that's what it's kind of I've made these mistakes. Okay. And now we've worked with literally hundreds of other plumbing businesses. Okay. And we've seen the mistakes, and then we've seen the fixes and what it does for you. Okay. And so this is a very, very, very common mistake, is especially, we're starting out, and it kind of makes sense, okay? But wearing every hat in the business, okay? We got to get you out of wearing every hat, okay?
Right.
And one of the hats you mentioned is being in the truck, which we get, okay? That's one of the quickest things we want to work on, is getting your butt out of the truck.
Right.
Okay.
If you've got enough work for you, you need to hire somebody.
Yes.
You need to hire somebody, and then that technician is the first one out. He's the first one out, so that you can start working on other things in your business, like, marketing, so that you can get more work, so that you can hire more, right? So if you've got enough work where you're consistently busy, right, where you're booking calls out 2, 3, 4 days, whatever, anything past 3 days, just for you, right? Anything past where you're booking into next week, you're just so swamped, you need somebody immediately. And again, that person is the first one out. He's the first one out, so that you can focus on the business.
Right. But if you're getting, 3 and 4 calls a day, okay, and a couple calls you'll be able to book into tomorrow, all right, you need somebody on right now.
Right. If you're looking to scale, really grow your business,
right.
It only makes sense, because then at what point is 5 calls a day enough for, booked out for 3 or 4 days, or do you need 6 calls a day booked out for a week? What's your comfort level? Right, which your comfort level probably needs to be adjusted. But if you've got enough work that keeps you fairly busy, you need to hire somebody.
Well, you kind of touched on it, sweetheart, where really it's the mindset in this, that's really holding you back and wanting to wear the hats. There's a sense of, well, I'm the only one that can do it, okay,
or do it right,
right, and that's really, we're still thinking like a tradesman. Okay, you're still thinking like a plumber. You're no longer a plumber. If you have a plumbing business, you're no longer a plumber. Now, you may be in the truck doing some plumbing, but you are no longer the plumber. You got to stop thinking like a plumber and working to be a plumber. So I like plumbing. If you like plumbing, stop the business, because you're hurting your family, and you will die. Okay, and you're hurting your family.
Right. I just want to perfect my craft, and I just want to be the best plumber out there. Then you should not have a plumbing business.
Nope.
You should not have a plumbing business. You need to go be a great, wonderful plumber, a great asset to another plumbing company who's going to probably feed you and treat you really well. If you're that good, then that's what you need to do, and you'll have less headache and hassle. But if your mindset is, I'm a plumber, but I'm sick of plumbing, I want out of the truck, that's when you'll be successful.
Exactly. In fact, we hear from our clients, excuse me, and even the new ones in the Success Academy, when they make a statement like, even let's go far as say, if I hate plumbing, they're gonna make us look good, because they're gonna do what we say, and because
they're ready,
because you're ready to build an asset, not be a plumber. There's 2 different things. We're not talking plumbing here. Okay, we're talking about building an asset, a business. Right. Okay, but it's taking advantage. You're blessed. You're lucky. You fell into plumbing. Okay, you're literally sitting on a gold mine. If you stop making these mistakes, and one of the huge mistakes is wearing every hat. And one of the hats you're wearing is that I'm the plumber. You're the bottleneck. You're the one that's holding your business back. Not having enough customers. It's not that you don't have enough customers. Okay, it's you. All right, I got to do the work. Okay, so you got to get to where you got to get you out of the truck as fast as possible.
Or I'm the only one that can answer the phones right.
Right.
I'm the only one. My customers only want to talk to me. They only want to talk to me. They're used to talking to me. They only want to talk to me. Okay, well, how's that going to go for you in a couple years?
Well,
3 years, 5 years.
You're going to still be answering the phone and broke.
Right, exactly. And you're going to be miserable because you trained not only your business, but your customers that they have a direct line to the owner. Is that what you really want? Is that what you really want, is to be on call for your customers? Or you've got it to where your technicians are having to call you for every single question they have on the job: how to bid something, how to offer options, how do I blow my nose, whatever it might be. If you're training them that they need to call you for every little instance, that's a hat you do not want to wear. Because again, you're going to be on vacation, or if you even take a vacation because you feel like I can't take a vacation because my customers only want to talk to me, or my technicians need me, but okay, I'm going to take a vacation. And maybe you've done this. Drop a comment in if this has been you before, where you finally did take a vacation. Your wife has nagged you enough to say, we've got to take the kids somewhere. We got to go somewhere and have a vacation. So you go, but you're on the phone the whole time. The whole time you're on the phone. That is no life. That's not a business. You own your job. That's all
Exactly.
you do. You own your job. And that's miserable because if you were a plumber somewhere else and went on vacation, were you fielding phone calls from your boss or from other technicians? No, you had a vacation. You actually had a vacation. You got to forget completely about work and about plumbing and trucks and customers and all that. You didn't even think about it. Well, now you've got a plumbing business. You go on vacation, and that's all you do is you're fielding phone calls about everything. That you own your job, and that's miserable.
Exactly, and we've seen it time and time again. Mm-hmm. The bottom line is you're choosing to wear the hats, and a lot of times it's out of ego and our own personal security.
Because I'm the only one that can answer the phones right.
And I feel that I'm feeling in control. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Right.
But you must delegate these things. You mentioned like being on the phone. The worst person answering the phone is you.
Plumbing business owners are the worst person. The worst person.
Well, I get out there and I sell the call. Still, you're giving away money. You're doing things for less. You can't grow and scale that.
No, because you're going to be doing that forever.
Right.
That's miserable.
Right.
So yeah, you need somebody answering the phone. So get a CSR, or again, if your wife is coming alongside and growing the business together, she's the perfect person on the phone. She cares more than anybody. She cares more than anybody that a call gets booked.
Right.
And she's a woman, so she's going to be more empathetic, and she's going to probably be a little bit more friendly and can book a call. She does not need to know anything about plumbing. She just needs to know how to book a call into the system and to be friendly and empathetic with the customer. That's the extent of the knowledge that she needs. So let that go. Let it go. Even if you've had your plumbing business for, 5 years, right? And you have been the one on the phone, and you're finally starting to grow, and the wife has come along, and you guys are growing the business together, and she starts to answer the phone, and you're listening to her answer the phones, and you're like, oh, it's not how you answer the phones. That's not how I've always done it. And so you're leaning over her, right, as she's on the phone, talking to the customer, and you're all, ask her, where's the water heater at? How many gallons is it? Is it gas or electric? Is it in the attic? Is it in the basement? Ask her. Please stop doing that. And wives, if you're listening to me and you know your husband's doing this, make sure they watch this. Don't do that. All you need to know is that where the customer lives, her name, and that she has a plumbing problem. That's all you need to know. That really is all you need to know. Anything else is cherry on top. Anything else is cherry on top. So the phones don't have to be answered in a way that you think they need to be answered. Let your wife or hire a CSR that can do that.
Exactly. In fact, you kind of turned, on that we see, you mentioned, plumbing power couples, husband and wife teams, which we see really do the best overall because it's the hat thing. Look, you may be wearing all the hats, but you don't look good in all the hats. Okay, you're not wearing all the hats.
You do not have a hat head for everything.
Right, exactly. Okay, so that's the beauty of having your wife involved in the business because it gives the business other skills and abilities. Yes, okay, 100%. And then they're wearing a hat and carrying that energy and have the ability to do that. Okay, the business needs that.
And it takes all for you.
And you need to let that go. Okay.
Yes. Let it go. Let it go. Like the song from what is it? Frozen, right? Yeah. Sing that song. You've got kids, you know that song by heart probably. So let it go and get over yourself. Get over yourself. Let again, if the wife is coming alongside and working together, let her perfect her area. You stay out of it, because she's probably better in the administrative tasks than you are. I know she's better on the phone than you are, 100%. I know that for a fact. So then you get over yourself, let it go, let her do it. And then that frees you up to do the things that are important for you to do, like recruiting, like marketing, like knowing your community, getting to know your community. So you're branding and you're getting your company name out there. Those are the things that you need to be working on.
Exactly. So these are the 3 mistakes that if you'll just stop making right now, okay, you'll start seeing your plumbing business starting to thrive, okay, all right, become very profitable and self-sustaining, able to operate without you, okay, and that's when you really start creating value.
Yes.
Okay.
In your business. Let me vision cast for you guys. Really think about it. If you've done this before, like I just talked about with going on vacation, right? You go on vacation and you're fielding all the calls. So if you've experienced that, really start to think about what would it be like to go on vacation, wherever it's at. You know, you go to the lake. You know, you've got your parents have a lake house or whatever, or you like to go to the beach or the mountains, whatever it is. Really think of, or Disney. Come down to Disney, which don't ever do that on spring break. Just saying. Or don't come down to Florida in August. Just don't do it. You'll be miserable. But vision cast and really think about what would it be like for me to actually go on vacation where my kids have my undivided attention, where my wife has my undivided attention, that I can relax, I can let go. Now, granted, it's going to take you a couple days. It's going to take you a couple days just to
come down
and release, right? So once you do, just kind of think about what would it be like to really have a vacation, to recharge your batteries, which is what vacations are supposed to be about. And then you get to spend time with your kids because, again, your life, you have a plumbing business, so your life's busy and full. So you probably don't get to spend as much time with your kids that you typically would want to. So, man, be there for them when they're at the pool at the hotel, which is all the kids want to do, by the way, is be at the hotel pool. Right? We may have all these other things planned. They're like, can we just go to the pool and blah, blah, blah. Anyway, go to the pool, let them, jump into your arms, or the 1,000th time, hey, Dad, watch this. Dad, watch this. And be some whatever, springboard off of whatever. Right. Or no, don't do that.
Or diving into the little play toy, ring or whatever, and they're like,
yes. Yeah. But really start to think about what would it be like to enjoy.
Or as our kids are the ones that are climbing the rocks, so stay off the rocks, at the pool.
Our kids were the reasons that those signs were there.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can have that. You really can have that if you do some of these things. Stop doing these mistakes. Again, these are mistakes that we made. We made them in the beginning of our plumbing business. We learned from our mistakes.
Right.
Eventually, it took us a little bit, and that's what we don't want for you. We don't want you to do, have the years of making the mistakes that we did.
And that's just on the front end. Cutting these, just stop it with these 3 mistakes. Just these 3 mistakes. Stop, pricing, basing your pricing on fear instead of what it really costs you. Stop waiting to hire out of desperation, but have the process in place where you're, you got a machine that's constantly recruiting. And then stop, wearing every hat. The business doesn't depend on you, right. All right? The business doesn't depend on anybody because we can put anybody into the hats, okay? Not only does that make you very profitable and provide you what we call a freedom lifestyle, okay, where you both, financially and time freedom, all right? But on the side, eventually to sell your plumbing business. This is the difference between selling your plumbing business at a negative multiple, meaning, okay, you think because I have these customers that I can sell this list. That's not what you're selling. They're buying a pricing system that, oh man, you got people who want to work for you, okay? And I got all these people already wearing these hats. It doesn't depend on you.
All the SOPs.
Okay. All the SOPs, everything's in place. Okay. Right. Exactly. That's what the big money's buying. So what that looks like is, and this is what we're all about in the Success Academy, is really getting you to making $3 to $5 million a year. And then turning around and selling your business for 10, 15, 20, $30 million, okay, which our clients, all right, have already done, all right? But it's doing these things, not making these mistakes.
Yes.
Okay? So on that side, that's the value.
Right.
So this is big. These are simple mistakes to stop doing. And it's okay. We do it. We kind of fall into it. We get it, okay? Right. But you can stop. You can change these things right now, okay?
Yeah, and right now, today, tomorrow. Right. Tomorrow, start immediately. Even if it's midweek, you're watching this episode, you can start immediately.
Now.
Start making these changes immediately.
Okay.
So, and to learn more about that, we do have a very free School Academy. School being spelled SKOOL, which is a great platform for businesses like ours to have a community and to be able to offer training and things like that. So we do have a free school community. If you go to milliondollarplumber.com/school, SKOOL, and join for free. We get great free training, initial free training, but then there's also information in there about Success Academy and other things. But
they have the community there as well.
we do have the community with other like-minded plumbing business owners who are looking to
Very
grow and
powerful.
scale their plumbing business, which is it's a great place to meet others that are in the position that you are.
And so you can still, continue on as you're, figuring out more of this and, do it yourself kind of thing. But if you're just ready to,
I'm ready.
I'm ready. Okay. I'm ready to be
Ready to stop making these mistakes.
Exactly. I'm ready to start having a thriving, I want to be self-sustained, have this business we can run where I don't have to babysit the guys, or I can
Take a vacation.
do that, do those kinds of things and be making money. Okay. If that's you, all right, let's talk. Okay. We'll have a simple conversation about where your plumbing business is at, what is standing in your way, what mistakes are you doing, and get you pointing in the right direction. Okay. Simply go to milliondollarplumber.com/call to schedule your call.
Free call.
Right. Okay. Take advantage of it. All right. Or we have links here too. So you can click the link. Okay. And you can go that route as well. So there you go. Okay. 3 mistakes here. Stop it. Okay. Just say no. Okay. Ain't going to do it no more.
Right.
Okay. All right. And get it done. Okay. It was good.
I know.
Good. Good nuggets of gold there, sweetheart. Okay. Go back and listen again. She dropped some nuggets of gold on you. All right. Hey, before we let you go, as always, I want to remind you that you were purposefully and wonderfully created, and you were created to do great things. So plumb like a champion.
Bye, everybody.